Yes, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I don't know. It took a lot of time for getting unmuted. Okay, so I think we have completed the list. So we have come to the end of the list, and we got to start now the strings. There is one more program. Okay, we'll take this. We'll have a look into this. Yeah. This is what we understood last class. Okay, converting a given list of words into string by using different delimiters. So we finished, and then to find the common words in toList. Okay, this you can make it as a set. Okay, set of color 1 and set of color 2, and then you can easily find out the common things. Okay, so this is where we stopped last class, and after this there are 2 more slides in this. Okay. Now if you are interested in finding the common words from the two lists, or 2 sets, you can do like this. Now I have color 1 assigned with this, and color 2 assigned with this. Now I'm making it as a set of color 1 and set of color 2, and I'm using ampersand just to find out the common words. So this is one simple way using which you can find the common words from the 2 lists. So we'll quickly execute this and see. So now print set color 1 and set color 2. So the common words from both the lists are printed. Okay. So now the next example is program to replace a word in the sentence with a given word. So in the previous class you understood how to find a line with the given pattern and extract the required word from the line. First you identified the lines which are matching the given pattern, and from that you identified the given required word. So now in this you are going to replace a sentence with a given word. So replace a word in a given sentence with a given word. Say for example, this is the example: two roads diverged in the woods, and I take the one less traveled. Okay, now I have to change this word take to took. So and I got to make finally the output as this. Now how to do this? So it is the program now. So this is the sentence. I'm assigning my entire sentence to this keyword and I'm printing the original sentence. Now I'm just looking for the word which I want to replace, then reading the new word. Now splitting, using split function, I'm splitting the sentence, my original sentence, into a list of words, and for x and for I comma x in enumerative sentence. Okay. Now what happens is here I will track the index and this x will track the words. If x is equal to word, then I say sentence of I, because index is also necessary. Sentence of I is equal to new word, and finally I'll go for joining all those words, into a sentence by using space as the delimiter. So by calling the join. Hope you understood with this example.
Yes, sir.
So enumerate of sentence is required. Say because I want to iterate, I need two things over here on every iteration. One is the word is also required and index is also required. Okay. So if I just write x in sentence, it will iterate over every word of the sentence, but at the same time I also require the index. So since index is also required, I am using another function, enumerate. Now what this will do, this will give the index also and the corresponding word also, and here I am equating x with the word which I take from the sentence with the word here, this word. Okay. If it matches, then I am going to replace that with the new word by using the index. Sentence of I is equal to so and so, because list, it is immutable. And finally I'll join all of them. Okay. So let me execute this example and then we'll go to the strings. Okay. So this is what, now I have to change this take to took. So this is the word in the sentence. So new word is took. Okay. So done. See, such a simple program, replacing, and you might have already done these types of examples even earlier in C programming language, correct? No? So but there it was little difficult, but here it is so easy. Okay, because you have many built-in function support, and using that you can easily do it. So hope you people understood with this example. So the main highlight of this example is join and split and enumerate now, correct? See, if you're not enumerating, you'll not get the index, and it will not be possible for you to mute the string. Okay. Oh, sorry, not mute the string, mute the list. Understood now? Shall we go to the next?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now the next topic is strings. Now after strings, we'll look into the one more important data structure, that is dictionaries. Okay, not today, maybe tomorrow. So strings. So as you already know, because we have already dealt with the strings initially, you know how to deal with the strings and how to access the characters of the strings using the indexing notation. So string is basically a sequence of characters which you can access the character one at a time with the bracket operator. So this is the example. So I have fruit is equal to banana. So now this is the string which is being assigned to this variable fruit. Now using this indexing operator, I can go for accessing each of the letters from this string. Now if I write fruit of 1, this will give me a, the second character from my string, because by default the positions always, index position always starts from 0. Okay. So now when I say print letter, since what we have assigned letter is equal to fruit of 1, print letter, when I say, it prints me a. In case if I want to print the first letter of my string b, so then I have to say letter is equal to fruit of 0. Okay, fruit of 0, it gives me the first letter. Okay. And when you are writing this indexing, so you can go for using any expression which leads to an integer variable, so integer value. So but you cannot write an expression which leads to a floating point variable. So something like this is not allowed, because indexing should be always integer, and whenever you are writing inside the bracketing operator, it can be any expression which has the variables, and finally it should lead to an integer value. So now this is how the entire string is stored, and these are the indexes of the string. So the first character of the strings you can access by using the index 0, and the second character of the strings can be accessed by using index 1, and it goes like this. So now the index value is always 1 less than the actual length of the string. So getting the length of a string without using len function. So write a Python program to find the length of the string without using len. So we have already understood the len function. It's a built-in function in Python using which you can get the length of anything. So you can get the length of a string, you can get the length of the list, or even length of the dictionary also you can find by using len. And length of the set, there is something called a set also, you can find the length of the set also. So length is a universal function here which can be used to find the length of anything. So but now we got to write a Python program to find the length of the string without using the built-in function len. So just try to do it, just try to write. So finding the length of a given string without using the built-in Python built-in function len. Write the answer and put it in the chat box. Write your answers here. Make it fast. Are people writing? So please respond. So no response still. Okay, print length of list of string. Print length of list of. Okay, now I told not to use the built-in function length. So question was like that. Now this is fine. Now what it will do, list of string you are saying, it will convert it into the list of characters from the given string, and then it will find the length of it, and then finally prints it. But the question was not to use the built-in function len. Okay, no issues. Okay, I'll show you the answer by myself. So here, so this you can write this is not difficult. So everything I'm writing in the form of the function definition, that's all. So I'm prompting here the message saying length of the string is equal to, and then I'm calling the function string length and prompting the message enter the string. Okay, so reading the string and passing it as an argument to string length. We have taken the count variable initialized to 0. For char in str1, I keep incrementing the count and finally return the count. So this is how to find the length of the string without using the built-in function len. Okay. So we'll perform the execution of this. Okay, length of the string is 6, and it can be done as I got one response. So same thing can also be done. Print len of, say, what is it, list of, say this, one closing and one more closing. So this is also true, but this is using the built-in function. Okay, we'll go to the next one. Now getting the length of a string using len. Okay, you can get the length of the string by using len function now, so you don't have to write your own code. So fruit is equal to this, and length of the fruit, it is 6. And to get the last character, so usually what we do, we find the length of the string, and if my intention is to obtain the last character from the string, I'll be writing it as fruit of length. But this is wrong, because if I write fruit of length, then it is index is out of the range. So because the minimum index is 0 and the maximum index is actual length of the string minus 1. So it should be always length minus 1 if you are interested in accessing the last character of a given string. So you cannot just write it as length, it should be length minus 1. Okay, so you got to always write it as length minus 1, so you have the length printed. Okay, and there is another way also. So to access the, as I already told, the indexing also supports the concept of slicing or indexing also supports the negative indexes. So if you want to access the last character, so you don't have to find the length and do subtract 1 from it. So you can directly access the last character by using the negative index, that is minus 1. And this is true for the strings also, and true for the lists also. So lists also you can have the negative indexes specified, and for strings also you can specify the negative indexes. Yeah, do this Python program to count the character frequency in a string. So you got to write a program to find how many times a character has appeared within a given string. all the characters. Say for example, character 1, how many, for example, I write a string, how many times the first character is repeated, second character is repeated, like this. And here we will use the dictionary, okay, and the dictionary we discuss it in detail after the strings. So from this point onwards, you'll simultaneously along with the strings you'll start learning the dictionaries also. So dictionary is a data structure which stores a key value pair. Okay, so now we'll see this program. So this is how I'm writing. So print, I'm calling the function character frequency, input, enter the string. I'm reading the string and passing it as an argument to the character frequency function. Now here I'm creating an empty dictionary. Okay. Now you know how to create an empty list. So same way you can create an empty dictionary. So if you write variable name is equal to opening big bracket and closing big bracket, it will create an empty list. So if you want to create a dictionary, so you got to write the variable name is equal to opening curly braces and closing curly braces. It will create an empty dictionary for you, and it can store the key value pair. So now I'm running a for loop for n in str1. Okay, I am iterating over every character of the string that is read, and here I'm trying to get, you can obtain all the keys of the dictionary by using dictionary.keys. So there is a function with the name keys which can be invoked on the dictionary. So right now dictionary is an empty dictionary because it is created just now, and on this dictionary I'm invoking the execution of the function called keys, and what it will return the list of keys. Now this keys is another variable, so now its type is list, because once this dictionary returns all the keys inside the dictionary, so this is the list of keys in the dictionary. Now next I'm iterating over each keys in the dictionary, in the list, in the keys list, for if n in keys. Okay, I'm just checking whether the character which we have read inside this for loop, we are checking whether it exists as a key in the dictionary. So if it already exists as a key in the dictionary, I access its value. So dictionary of n. Okay, I'm accessing its value, and say I've already told dictionary stores a key value pair. Say for example, let me write here. So this is my string. This is my string. I read this first character. Okay, inside the dictionary I'll be storing something like this. So h, let me make it as lowercase h, and its value, say for example, let me write here. So I'm checking if h is in the keys. Initially my list dictionary is empty. Assume this is my dictionary, it is empty, so nothing is there. Now it comes to the else part, and what it will do, dictionary of h is equal to 1. Okay, now I'm adding a key with the name h, and what is its value? 1. That means this has occurred for the first time. Okay, and then go back to the for loop again. So the next character which is scanning from the string is a. Okay, and I come here and again I extract the keys. Now keys from the dictionary, how many keys are there right now in the dictionary? There is one key, that is h. So keys is h. Now if n is nothing but a, now a in keys, so is it there inside the list keys? A is not there. That means again it will come to the else part, and it will make dictionary of a. Okay, that is key is a, and this has occurred for the first time, and it is 1. Okay, next again, so go back to the for loop. So now the next symbol that is being scanned is r. Okay, n is r. Now I'm again reading all the keys from my dictionary. How many keys are there right now in my dictionary? There are 2 keys, h and a. H and a is read. People are seeing my screen. Can you people see what I'm writing?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so there are 2 keys right now in my, there are 2 keys in my list. There are two keys in my dictionary, and the same thing I've built it as made as a list of keys. H and A are the two keys right now. So then the next symbol which I've scanned is R. I'm checking if R in keys, whether the key R is existing in the keys list. No, it's not there. Again it comes to the else part. Now I'm adding the key R with the value 1 to the dictionary. R with 1. Okay. Now again I go back to the for loop, and the next symbol that is being scanned is I. Okay. So again we come here, I extract all the keys from the dictionary. So now there are three keys, H, A and R. Okay. Now I am checking if I is there inside the key or not. So I is not in the list of keys. Now again I come to the else part. What does it mean? I is appearing for the first time. I come to the else part, and in the dictionary I create a key with the name I, and I make its value as 1. Okay. Now again the next symbol that we are scanning is yes. Okay. N is yes now. Again I extract the keys. Now my new list of keys is H, A, R, I. Okay. And again yes is not in the list of keys. So it comes to the else part. So there is one more key value pair added to the dictionary. Key name is yes, and its value is 1. Again I go back to the for loop. So the next symbol that is being scanned is H. Now I am extracting again all the keys from my dictionary. Now what are the keys in my dictionary now? So there are 5 keys in my dictionary, and what I am looking is now H, whether H exists in the list of keys. Yes, H is already there. Now it comes to this. It will not go to the else part. It comes here. Now what it is doing? So dictionary of I'm just accessing the current value of associated with the key H. What is the current value associated with the key H? 1. So you can see this is a compound assignment statement. So dictionary of H is equal to dictionary of H plus 1. What is the current value? 1. 1 plus 1 is how much? It is 2. 2. Okay. Next I go back to the for loop, and there are no more characters to iterate over. Now it comes out of the for loop and returning what? The dictionary, and this is what gets printed. So the entire dictionary gets printed, and what it says, H has appeared how many times? 2 times. A has appeared 1 time, R has appeared 1 time, I has appeared 1 time, and S has appeared 1 time. Hope you people understood with this.
Yes.
Now we'll execute the same example. So now see that you already have the knowledge of dictionaries. Okay. So along with the strings, you are learning the dictionaries. Okay. So now I'll execute this. Okay, unindented. Okay, let me, where it is saying return dictionary. So this should be outside the for loop. Again UEF, I think one more bracket is required. So this is closing for this is closing for this, and one more closing for print. So str1 is undefined, not defined. Okay. So why it's saying str1 is not defined? Because this for loop should be indented under the function definition character frequency. So since I did copy paste, all indentations are lost. Okay. I hope this is correct now. So return outside the function. Okay, it should be inside. See, it should be outside the for loop, but return should be inside the definition. That's what I told. So this is the difficulty with the Python programming language. The rest all is easy, but only this indentation problem is the difficult thing. Now what I have to do now? This one step I have to move inside. Okay. So yeah, now this is fine. So for loop is inside this, and this return is inside the function, and outside, so you can say this return dictionary is outside the for loop. Is this clear? The indentation?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now it's correct. Now it is asking me to enter the string. Let me enter the same string which I took for explanation, my name. See, H has appeared for 2 times, A has appeared for 1 time, R has appeared for 1 time, I has appeared for 1 time, and S has appeared for 1 time. Okay, we'll run again and take a different string. I'm writing my full name. See, H has appeared 2 times, A has appeared 2 times, R has appeared 2 times, everything, and space has appeared 3 times. So this is space. See, 1, 2, 3. And space has appeared for 3 times, and entire frequency you got it. So it's so easy. So doing in Python programming language. Okay. So you give any big string as an example input to this, so you'll get the frequency of the characters. You don't have to strain your head to get the frequency of the characters in Python programming language. So you can just compare. So the same program, so the program which is written either in C or in Java. So it's so simple here. It looks so simple. Okay. So with this we'll move to the next one. So now do this. I hope you can try this. Write a Python program to get a string made of the first 2 and last 2 characters from a given string. If the string length is less than 2, return empty string. That means if the string length is less than 2, you return empty string. If the string length is more than 2, you have to form a new string by taking the first 2 characters and the last 2 characters from the given string. So you can do this. You can make use of the indexing or slicing concept, and you can do this easily. So just make an attempt and write your answers in the chat box.
Sir, can you show the question again, sir?
Yeah, 1 second. Write a Python program to get a string made of the first 2 and last 2 characters from a given. First you have to read a string, and then you got to check whether it is of length less than 2. If it is of length less than 2, you have to return an empty string. If the length is greater than 2, then take first 2 characters from the string and last 2 characters and make a new string. New string you got to make by taking the first 2 and last 2 characters from the given string. Hope you understood the question. Is the question clear?
Yes.
Okay, try. To find the length of the string, to check whether it is greater than 2 or lesser than 2, you can use the built-in function length. Yeah, post it fast. Simple. You can finish it in 3 lines. Just 3 lines. Only thing is using the indexing properly. If the string is greater than length 2, take first 2 characters from the string, last 2 characters of the string, and make a new string. That's all. Okay, if length of string is less than or equal to 2, return null, else print. Okay. s of 0, s of 1 plus s of minus 2, s of minus. Yeah, this is also correct. Good. Okay, only 3 lines of code it is, not at all difficult. Okay, now I'll show my solution. Even I have done the same way. See, but everything I'm writing in the form of functions, that's all. So I'm just reading. I think I got one more response. Let me check that also. Okay, no. Yeah, I got it. So again it is in the form of definition. If the length of the string is lesser than 2, returning empty string. Otherwise return str1 of 0, 1 and then minus 2, minus 1. Yes, correct. Good. Okay, now I'll show my answer. So this is how I have done. So you have done it by taking str of 0, str of 1 plus str of minus 2, str of minus 1. Now what I have done now, enter the string, string both ends, correct? This is the function which I am calling. I am just checking whether the length of the string is lesser than 2. If it is lesser than 2, I just say return empty string. Otherwise return 0 to 2. Okay, because it will take the first two characters 0 to 1 plus minus 2. It will take so the higher index is not specified, correct? It will take the last two characters and builds a new string. Okay, so we'll run this. So this way also you can do it, or you can do the way you have messaged me. That is also correct. Okay, so let me enter this. Okay, so first two and last two characters are taken and a new string is made. Okay, so if I input a string which is lesser than length 2, so it just returns and says nothing. Okay, now if I input a string of length 2, so same thing it is repeating. First two characters and the last two characters the same. So same thing it is repeating you twice. And in the last class you also understood this, how to deal with the files also, how to open a file. So but you don't know now how to open it in the write mode and other modes and how to write to the file. What you know is how to open a file in the read mode and how to read it. Okay. Okay, so traversing through a string with a loop. Okay, and so this is necessary. So when you are dealing with strings, it is necessary for you to traverse the entire string character by character and perform certain required computation. So there are many ways to traverse the strings character by character in Python. So one way to do is by using the while loop. It can be done by using the while loop. So but for a while loop you require a sentinel variable. So this is called as a sentinel variable. So index is initially initialized to 0, and while index is less than the length of the fruit, so you can see fruit of index I'm getting and assigning it, and I'm printing and I'm indexing, incrementing the index. So this is one way to traverse the entire list, entire string character by character. So this is this kind of loop you can write. Okay, so I'm just running this. Okay, fruit is not defined. So fruit is equal to, so I'll write the same banana. So now I'll run my example, my program. So fruit is defined now. So this, so what it is doing, it is iterating over each character of my string and they are getting printed. So this is one way of traversing through the string. So now this, now you know how to traverse the string by using a while loop. So using this, based on this concept, you try to answer this question. Write a while loop that starts at the first character of a string and works its way forward to the last character of the string, printing each character on a separate line. So what we did now, the same thing. Okay. So same thing, it's the same program what we did. Okay, do this now. Write a while loop that starts at the last character in a string and works its way backward to the first character in the string, printing each letter on a separate line. So it was the previous example was in the forward direction. Now I want you to do it in the reverse direction. So index was initialized to 0. We started from 0 and went to the length of the string. So now you got to do it in a reverse way. Maybe this will be useful for you to find whether the string is palindrome or not. You're printing the string in the reverse order. Yeah, what you have to do, index should be now initialized to length of the string. I'll show you the answer. See, so enter the string and then calling display here. So index is initialized to length of the string minus 1. So even you cannot initialize it to length of the string, because length of the string is always index out of range, while index greater than or equal to 0. Okay, so they're used to do less than or equal to length of string minus 1. Now greater than or equal to 0 and print. Now what this will do, this is going to print the string in the reverse order. So I'm trying this now. So we have the string printed in the reverse order, because the first and the last characters are same. Again, the first character is H. So this H, what you are seeing here, is the last character. I'll run it again. So 1 2 3 4 I gave. Now 4 3 2 1. So reversing. See, reversing is so easy here. Okay. Next. So another way to traverse through this string is by using a for loop. Okay, so you can just you know already this, for character in fruit, print a character. Okay, so this will iterate over every character in the given string. So only one thing is, this will always start from the lower index and it will go till the higher index. If you're using a while loop, so you can go for controlling. Okay, so I don't want to iterate through all the characters of the given string. Say I want to start iterating from the character which is at the index 5. So then I can initialize the index to 5 and I can start iterating the given string from there. But if you're using this for loop, it is not possible for you to iterate the partial string. So you got to iterate the complete string. Okay, again this will execute. I think fruit I have already defined, it should not be a problem. Okay, so banana, so iterate it and all. So but this I can control. Say for example, this example, let me run it again. Enter the string. Say this is iterating all the, okay, yeah, iterating all the characters from the reverse direction, in the reverse direction. I just don't want it to happen from the end. Say I want to iterate from the last but 2 characters. So what I can do, so index I can assign, so this string length of str minus 3, and then now this. So I'm not iterating all the list from the back side. Okay, so from last but 2 character I'm iterating. So this is possible if you are using the while loop, but if you are using the for loop, so you got to iterate all the elements. And this you can do only in the forward direction, and the reverse direction is not possible. Yeah, do this. try to do this example. Write a Python program to output a string from a given string where all occurrences of its first character have been changed to dollar except the first character itself. Say for example, this restart. Now I want all occurrences of R to be replaced by dollar except the first occurrence. Do this. Write the answer in the chat box. Yeah, make it fast. Okay, I'll show you. Okay, say this example now. I'm reading this string and then see I'm just copying the first character of my string to char, and now so there is a built-in function again, str1 dot replace, okay, this character, the first occurrence, correct, no? All with dollar, and again character, one second, sorry, so replace the occurrence of R with dollar, and I'm taking this character now, okay, I'm appending. So the first character I've already assigned it to this. Say for example, restart. Let me write the same example here. Let me write below here. So just observe here. Restart. Now what I'm doing, to character I'm assigning the first character. Character is equal to how much? R. What? R. Next what I'm doing, I'm taking this entire string and invoking the replace function on it. So character is R and replace occurrence with dollar. Now all occurrences, what this statement is doing is, all the occurrences, it is occurrences of R, it is replacing by dollar. So this is dollar, because first one is R, E, S, T, A, and again dollar, and then T. Next what we are doing, so str1 is equal to char is already R. I am appending R to the, except this first character, I am appending all the remaining characters. Hope you understood. Char is R, and this is, I am starting from the index 1, okay, not from 0. Index 1 to till the end. So if you're not specifying the higher index, it will go for extracting the string till the end from the first index. So from the first index you have this, sorry, first index you have this, E, S, T, A, $T, and to this the R gets appended, okay, and it will become R, E, S, T, A, $T. Is that clear? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now I'll execute this.
So now we have to maximize the waveform or maximize.
Enter this string, okay.
So all of this see the red line.
It's a restart. It is done. Now after this also you can print. Let me print. Print str1. Okay. Now here what will happen? It will replace all occurrences of R with dollar, and after that I'm leaving the first character, I'm appending the R to it. See, so here all occurrences of R are replaced, but in this next line what I'm doing, so I'm removing this, I'm taking out this and assigning R. Okay, so this is the example. So next is string slices. You know this already. So a segment of string is called as a slice, and selecting a slice is similar to selecting a character. Okay, so this is what I have. So I want only the first word from this string. So this is how I do 0 to 5. First 5 characters are taken. Similarly, if I want the second word, 0 to 12. Okay, so this you know already. And then same as what the lists what we understood. So you can omit the first index, you can omit the second index also. Okay, all these things is fine, you know this. And if you omit both the things, you will get the full string. So if you write just like this, null string. Yeah, do this now. Write a Python program to get a single string from the two given strings separated by a space, and swap the first 2 characters of each string. See, so this is one string ABC, this is another string XYZ. What you have to do, you have to make a single string out of these two. So but with one condition, you got to swap the first character of each string. Say A you should swap with X, and C you should swap with Z. See, so the final string is something like this. So A is swapped with X, it is sorry, first 2 characters of each string. AB is swapped here with XY, it is XYC, and here YZ is swapped with AB. Do this. Yeah, we'll see how to do this because it's already 1:30. So after this example I'll stop. Observe here, reading the first string to str1, reading the second string to str2, then character mix-up I'm calling str, passing the str1 and string 1 and string 2 here. So new string A is equal to, so I'm what I'm doing here, I'm taking the first 2 characters of B, and then last 2 characters of A, I'm making new A. And similarly last 2 characters of A, first 2 characters of B, making new B. I'm just appending those two by using space as the delimiter. Okay, so and finally printing the final string. Okay, it's easy. So using the concept of indexing or slicing, so you can easily deal with the strings. Any type of operations you can do, any type of mix and match you can do. Okay, so this one let me execute quickly. Okay, inconsistent use of tabs. Okay, this has to be outside. Okay, okay, this is correct. Okay, we'll see now. Yeah, it's correct. I'll give same ABC XYZ. So this is XYC ABZ. So the first 2 characters of each string is swapped. Any doubts still here, students?
No, sir.
Okay, so I'll call the attendance, just be there.